Arsenal transfer diary, the two big names that could change everything this summer. Let us be honest with you. If you are an Arsenal fan right now, you are probably checking your phone every few hours, hoping to see good transfer news. And right now, there are two names that keep coming up again and again. One is a 19-year-old winger from Germany who is lighting up the Bundesliga. The other is one of the best players on the planet. Both of them could be wearing red and white next season. Both stories are exciting, both are complicated, and both are worth talking about properly. So let us get into it. Part 1. Yandom Mande and why Arsenal are in the driving seat. Who is Yandom Mande and why should you care? If you have not been following Yandom Mande closely this season, let us fix that right now. He is 19 years old. He plays as a left winger for RB Leipzig in Germany. He came from a Spanish side called Leganes in the summer for just 17 million euros. And since then, he has been absolutely sensational. How sensational? The boy has scored 11 goals and provided somewhere between 6 and 8 assists, depending on which competition you count. He has done all of that in his first full season at a top European club. He is 19 years old. Let that sink in for a moment. But it is not just the numbers that make him exciting. It is the way he plays. He completes over 4 dribbles per 90 minutes. That puts him in the top 1% of all players in Europe for that skill. When he gets the ball at his feet, defenders genuinely do not know what to do with him. He is described as lightning fast, creative, and direct. He goes at people, he beats his man, and then he does something with it. For Arsenal, this matters a lot. Under Mikel Arteta, the team has been well organised and hard to beat. But there has always been a feeling that something is missing on the left side. Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard are good players, but neither of them is a genuine 1v1 threat who can take on defenders and win. Mande is exactly that kind of player. Arsenal fans have been asking for more flair and more direct attacking play for a while now. Mande could be the answer to that question. So what is actually happening with the transfer here is where things get interesting. Arsenal have been linked with Mande since January, when The Athletic reported he was at the top of their list. But in the last few days, the story has moved forward significantly. According to Court Offside, Arsenal are now in the leading position to sign him. The report says Arsenal have contacted people around the player to stay informed about his future. That does not mean an offer has been made yet, but it means Arsenal are serious and they are moving ahead of everyone else. Now, you might be asking, who else is in this race? The biggest competition right now is Liverpool. The Reds have been linked with Mande for months because they need a long-term replacement for Mohamed Salah, who is leaving Anfield at the end of this season. Liverpool identified Mande as one of their top 3 preferred options for that role. There was even a report from Spain over the weekend claiming Liverpool had already reached a full agreement with the player on personal terms. But here is the problem for Liverpool, and here is why Arsenal have the edge. Yandom Mande has made it very clear that Champions League football is a requirement for him when choosing his next club. It is not a preference, it is a must. And right now, Liverpool are sitting 5th in the Premier League table. They are not guaranteed to qualify for the Champions League next season. Arsenal, on the other hand, are in a much stronger position when it comes to European football. And that changes everything. As one source told Football 365, Liverpool is the preferred destination in terms of the romance of the move. But the reality is that without Champions League football, they will struggle to get him. Arsenal are very much in the race, and right now they look like frontrunners. Manchester United are also being mentioned, but they too have their own question marks around European qualification. What about RB Leipzig? Here is a complication that nobody should ignore. RB Leipzig do not want to sell Yandom Mande this summer. According to German journalist Florian Plettenberg, who is one of the most reliable sources on Bundesliga transfers, Leipzig are planning to offer Yandom Mande a new contract with a performance-related pay rise. They want to keep him for at least one more season. They have not included a release clause in the new deal they are planning, which means any club that wants him would need to meet Leipzig's asking price, and that price is 100 million euros. Some reports say 87 million pounds in English money. That is a serious amount of money for a 19-year-old who has only had one breakout season. But the question is not whether he is worth 100 million euros today. The question is whether he will be worth 200 million euros in 3 years. And the answer to that question, based on what he has shown so far, is probably yes. Here is another thing worth mentioning. Leipzig are still fighting for Champions League qualification in Germany. If they make it, Yandom Mande might decide to stay and prove himself in Europe with his current club before making a big move. So this transfer is not guaranteed to happen at all. When will we know the answer? This is where you need to be patient. According to Team Talk, Yandom Mande is focused on the 2026 World Cup with Ivory Coast this summer. He is expected to be part of the squad, and he has reportedly decided to wait until after the tournament before making a decision about his future. That means we could be waiting until July or even August to get a final answer. It is going to be a long summer. But here is a question for you, Arsenal fans. If you had 100 million euros to spend on one player this summer, would Yandom Mande be your choice? Or would you prefer to wait and see? Let us know what you think. Part 2. Venicius Jr. and the transfer saga. Everyone is talking about. Let us talk about the biggest name in football right now. Now we move to the other story, and this one is on a completely different level. Venicius Jr. is 25 years old. He plays for Real Madrid. He is arguably the best winger in the world right now. He won the Ballon d'Or. He has been the difference maker in multiple Champions League campaigns. He is electric, he is dangerous, and he is currently in the final year of his contract at Real Madrid. And according to reports from Team Talk, intermediaries have been in contact with 7 clubs about a potential move. Those clubs are Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bayern Munich. 7 clubs for one player. This is the kind of transfer story that comes along maybe once every few years. What is actually going on at Real Madrid? The background to this story is important. Venicius and Real Madrid have been trying to agree a new contract for some time now, but talks have stalled. They have not been moving forward. And according to ESPN sources, negotiations may not even resume until after the 2026 World Cup. That means for at least the next few months, there is genuine uncertainty about whether he will still be at the Bernabeu next season. Now, to be clear, Venicius himself has said publicly that he wants to stay at Real Madrid. He loves the club. He has built his legacy there. And he knows that Real Madrid is the biggest stage in the world. But here is the thing about football. Players say they want to stay until the moment they do not. And when your contract situation is this uncertain, it creates a window for other clubs to start conversations. That is exactly what is happening here. The intermediaries reaching out to these 7 clubs are not doing it randomly. They are testing the market. They are seeing who is interested and how serious that interest is. How does Arsenal fit into this? This is where it gets really interesting for Gooners. Arsenal have been linked with Venicius for a little while now, and on the surface it makes sense. Arsenal need a world-class left-sided attacker. Venicius is arguably the best in the world at that position. If you are trying to take the next step and win the Premier League or the Champions League, adding a player like him would be a massive statement. But let us also be honest about the challenges here. First, the money. What would it cost to sign Venicius Jr? We are not talking about 100 million euros. We are talking about a number that would likely be one of the biggest transfer fees in football history. His wages alone would be enormous. The Saudi Pro League has already made huge offers to him, and he turned those down. That tells you he values something other than just money, but it also tells you he knows his worth. Second, the competition. Arsenal are not the only club in this race. Manchester City have the financial power. Bayern Munich have the European prestige. PSG are throwing money at everything. Chelsea have spent billions. This is genuinely one of the most competitive transfer races you will ever see. Third, Real Madrid. Despite everything, the most likely outcome is still that Venicius signs a new deal and stays in Madrid. He is the face of that club right now. He is preparing for a huge Champions League quarterfinal against Bayern Munich. He is focused on football. A transfer this summer is possible, but it is far from certain. What did Venicius say before the Bayern Munich game? This part of the story is actually quite revealing about how focused Venicius is on the present rather than transfer rumours. Speaking ahead of Real Madrid's Champions League quarter-final first leg against Bayern Munich in Madrid, Venicius was clear that he respects Bayern as an opponent but believes Real Madrid can handle them. He said their fans need to be with them from the first to the last minute. He talked about Bayern having a great team with players who can change positions, and when asked about Harry Kane possibly returning to the Bayern lineup, he acknowledged Kane is a great scorer, but said Bayern are so well organised that it almost does not matter who plays at number 9 for them. This is a player who is dialed in and focused on winning games, not thinking about summer transfers. That tells you something. But here is a question for you. If Venicius Jr did become available this summer and Arsenal genuinely had a chance to sign him, should they go all in? Even if it meant spending almost their entire transfer budget on one player? Or would you rather have depth and quality across multiple positions? That is a debate worth having. The Saudi question one more thing that is worth mentioning in this Venicius story. The Saudi Pro League is also ready to move if any opportunity arises. They have the money to match whatever any European club offers. They have already shown they can attract elite players. And at 25, Venicius is not too young to move there if the offer is truly extraordinary. Most fans would not want to see a player of his quality go to Saudi Arabia. And based on what we know about Venicius, he wants to compete at the highest level. He wants the Champions League. He wants the biggest stages. Saudi Arabia does not offer that in the same way. But money has a way of changing conversations. And the longer his Real Madrid contract situation stays unresolved, the more other options start to feel real. Part 3. What these two stories mean for Arsenal right now. Two different players, two different problems. When you look at these two transfer stories side by side, you start to understand the choices Arsenal might face this summer. Yandom Mande is the smart, long-term option. He is young. He is talented. He is not yet at his peak. At 100 million euros, he would be expensive for a player with only one breakout season, but he has the potential to become elite. And Arsenal getting him now, before the really big clubs come calling in a year or two, could be a genuinely clever piece of business. Venicius Jr is the here and now option. He is already elite. He would make Arsenal a genuine title contender overnight. But the cost would be enormous and the competition is fierce. Can Arsenal do both? Almost certainly not. The question is which direction they go. And that might depend on what happens with the Champions League and Premier League over the next few weeks. What does Arsenal need most right now? Think about this for a moment. Arsenal have been close to the title in recent seasons. They have shown they can compete. But there have been moments when they lacked that one special individual who could make something happen from nothing. A player who can win a game on his own. A player who can unlock a defense when nothing else is working. Both Yandom Mande and Venicius offer that in different ways. Yandom Mande offers it through pace, dribbling, and directness. Venicius offers it through world-class quality at the very highest level. Arteta has built a proper team at Arsenal. The structure is good. The defensive organization is strong. But the next step is finding that spark, that moment of brilliance that tips a game in your favor. Both of these players could provide exactly that. What should Arsenal do here is what feels most realistic. Yandom Mande is achievable if Arsenal move quickly and stay committed. Their Champions League position gives them a real advantage over Liverpool. The fee is high but manageable, and the player fits exactly what Arsenal need on the left wing. Venicius Jr is more of a dream scenario. It would require Real Madrid to genuinely lose control of his contract situation. It would require Arsenal to outbid multiple elite clubs. It would require Venicius to choose Arsenal over clubs with bigger recent European records. All of that is possible, but it is a lot of ifs. The smart money says Arsenal go for Yandom Mande. But sometimes in football, you have to be bold. And if there was ever a summer to be bold, this might be it. The outrow. What a time to be an Arsenal fan. Honestly, what a time to be following Arsenal. A year ago, the conversation was about whether Arteta was the right man, about whether Arsenal could sustain their Premier League challenge, about whether the squad had the quality to compete with Manchester City. Now we are talking about possibly signing Venicius Jr. We are leading the race for one of the most exciting young wingers in Europe. The club has genuine ambition and the financial backing to match it. This summer could be the one that defines the next 5 years for Arsenal. Yandom Mande could be the player who finally gives the left wing that electricity it has been missing. A player who makes defenders nervous before he even touches the ball. A player who can win a game on his own on a good day. And if somehow the Venicius story leads somewhere real, then we are talking about one of the greatest signings in Arsenal history. But nothing is done yet. Leipzig want to keep Yandom Mande and are offering him a new deal. Venicius says he wants to stay at Real Madrid. The World Cup is coming and decisions are being delayed. Arsenal still have football to play and trophies to fight for this season. So stay patient, stay informed, and stay with us as this story develops. Because one thing is for sure, this summer is going to be one for the scrapbook. What do you think, Arsenal fans? Is Yandom Mande the one you want this summer? Or do you believe Arsenal should make a real push for Venicius? Drop your thoughts and let the debate begin. This community is built on conversations like this one, and every voice matters. Come on, you Gunners.